This story is in Genesis chapter 25, verses 29 through 34. And we have these two brothers. The youngest named Jacob. The oldest is named Esau. Both are very different, right? Both brothers are very different. Jacob, being the youngest, he enjoyed being where? You say in the kitchen? He enjoyed being indoors, right? He's like, I want to watch Netflix. I want to hang out in the kitchen. I'm going to stay inside, just in my pajamas all day. That was Jacob. Then you got Esau. Where did he like to be? Outside, in the woods. He was your hunter. He liked to hunt and kill animals and eat them. He was kind of like the manly guy, I guess. He was the outdoors man. He liked camping and fishing and hunting. That was Jacob. That was Esau. Well, we come to a part in this story where Esau is out hunting and he hasn't caught anything in a while. And so now he begins to get hungry, right? He's hungry, and he goes home and he walks into the house and he sees Jacob cooking in the kitchen. What's Jacob cooking? Soup. He's cooking some good soup. And Esau said, Jacob, I am starving. Can I have some of your soup? He said, I am starving. I want some of your soup. Y'all remember this? Yeah. What's your favorite? Oh, on the count of three, I want you to yell your favorite soup, okay? 1, 2, 3. Vegetable beef. Who said tomato? Who said cream of mushroom? Y'all are nasty. Any chicken noodle fans? Yeah, chicken noodle. You said you'll sell your birthright for some chicken noodle soup? Okay, well look. Hear me out. Esau, he's claiming to be famished. He's starving. Jacob, my younger brother, can you please just give me a bowl of your soup? Jacob says, sure. If you give me your what? Your birthright. Now, birthright, that means as a firstborn, you are automatically given the birthright, which means you have everything. You get double when your parents pass away, you get double what they're going to give your siblings. You get the land, you get the power. You're now the head of the house. You've got it all when you get the birthright. So Jacob said, all right, Esau, you're the oldest. I want your birthright. I want the double portion blessing you're going to get when mom and dad die. Esau's like, you're asking for a lot, but I'm starving. So I'll do it. You can have my birthright, and I'll eat the soup. And we learn that later, Esau despised his birthright. He got angry. When the soup was gone, when his appetite for the moment was filled, he began to regret the decision he made. And we learned that decision had long-lasting impact. That even when you read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years later in Scripture, when you see the genealogy of Jesus, the family line of Jesus, you don't see Esau's name listed. You see Jacob's name. Esau gave up his legacy. He gave up everything because of his momentary appetite. And I want to encourage you that don't let your appetite rob you of your future. Don't let today's appetite, the things that you want and desire today that you think are going to taste so good, rob you of your future. I hope you're catching what I'm saying here. I'm not talking just about food. Your appetite, things that you're consuming, things that you're allowing into your life, decisions you're making today to feel momentary happiness. Don't let today's appetite rob you of your future. See, look, Esau came in the house declaring he was what? Starving. Esau wasn't starving. Listen to me. Esau wasn't starving. Esau was undisciplined. And when you're undisciplined, you'll give in to your momentary appetite. When you're undisciplined, you'll consume what tastes good in the moment. We shared last week. You may have this great dinner planned at 7 o'clock at a fancy restaurant like Applebee's. But it's 5 o'clock and I'm hungry now. So I passed McDonald's, second fanciest restaurant. And I swoop in the drive-thru and I grab me 2 cheeseburgers with extra cheese and no onions and extra pickles. And I eat them really quick because I'm hungry. And now guess what? I've made myself sick and I'm not so hungry. Your mom ever tell you growing up, she's cooking dinner and you're like, you're in the pantry, actually. You're already in the pantry. And your mom's got dinner on the stove. What does she yell at you? Don't ruin your what? Appetite. Don't ruin your appetite. Don't give up what I've got cooking for what you're trying to eat right now. For a momentary snack. Don't give up what I've got cooking for a momentary snack. Now look. Appetites aren't bad. But when you're undisciplined, your appetite, which you should be controlling, will begin to control you. Listen to this. Some of you have an appetite. You want to be loved. That's not bad. It's not bad to be loved. But when you don't control that appetite and you let that appetite control you, you'll begin to lower your standards. I just want to be loved. I hadn't had a boyfriend in 6 months. I'll date the first guy that comes along. The first one that sends me a snap. Let's go. You want to be loved, and when you don't control your appetite and you let your appetite control you, you'll lower your standards. You tell yourself, I'll save myself for marriage. I won't sleep with nobody till we're married, and then you let your appetite control you, and you give yourself away to the first person that shows you attention. You have an appetite for success. I want to be successful. I want to have money. And you don't control your appetite, you don't try to do things the right way, you let your appetite control you, and you begin finding yourself cheating, and you find yourself stealing. Whatever it takes to get money in the bank. I'm trying to get the bread, now I'm stealing the bread. Maybe you want friends, you have an appetite, you just want to be loved, and you want friends. I want friendships. I am so hungry to have friends and to be liked, to have popularity. And in order to gain friends, and in order to be liked, and in order to be popular, you begin to give up your values. You allow your character to be compromised. Because your appetite is controlling you instead of you controlling your appetite. Appetites aren't bad as long as you have control. I want to read you a verse tonight out of Proverbs. It's in Proverbs 25, verses 26 through 28, and it says this: a good person who gives in to a bad person is a muddied spring. When you're a good person and you begin to hang out and give in to bad people, it says you become a muddied spring. How many of y'all have ever swam in a spring? How many of y'all ever swam in a muddy spring? A muddy spring? You say, what's that? Let's think about it. A spring that's got mud in it. I never realized, I love the state of Georgia. That's where I love our state. I never realized how dirty Georgia water was, like lake water, until I visited up north. My fiance, oh yikes. My wife is from Wisconsin, and their lakes are crystal clear. Like I can see the bottom. We're in a boat. I can see the bottom of the lake. Crystal clear. But here our water is a little more dirty. We have Georgia red clay, and it makes the water more murky and more muddy. And I do not, if I can be honest with you, one of my fears is being in the water and not being able to see what's around me. There's no clarity, right? I freak out a little bit. It's not clear. And Scripture says a good person, Scripture also says bad character corrupts. A bad company corrupts good character. Be careful who you spend time with. Be careful who you're around. And it says, a person who gives in to a bad person is a muddy spring. It's not good for you. Do you want to drink muddy water? Do you want to consume muddy water? Or do you want to consume clean water? Clean water? Who wants to consume muddy water? I don't think so. If I handed you a glass right now of muddy water, you would not want that. You would drink that? I'll remember that the next time I have a game. I got muddy water. It's got fish poop in it. It's got twigs, turtle poop. You don't want that. But look, it continues. It says this. It's not smart to stuff yourself with sweets, nor is glory piled on good for you. Don't stuff yourself with sweets. Don't spoil your appetite. Don't ruin your appetite. You've got something good ahead of you. You want to save your life. You want to live a life that honors God, that glorifies God. Have self-control. Have self-discipline. Don't give in to what tastes good in the moment. When you give in to the sweets, when you give in to things that taste good in the moment, you're going to spoil your appetite for what God has for you in the future. And then it says this in verse 28. A person without self-control is like a house with its doors and windows knocked out. How many of y'all feel safe if you went home tonight and your doors and your windows were knocked out? You're a liar. Before I go to bed every night, I make sure windows are locked and doors are locked. That gives me safety. It gives us control. Our house is now well protected. And it tells us right here, a person without self-control, you're like a house with the doors and the windows knocked out. You allow anything to enter. You allow anything in. You aren't protected. You don't have guardrails set in place to protect from outside sources entering your life. It's telling you right here, have self-control. Be intentional with what you consume. Be intentional with what you allow into your life, with what kind of music you listen to, with what kind of TV shows you watch. Be intentional with what you're consuming. Be intentional with what you're allowing in. Be intentional with controlling your appetite. Don't give up what you want most for what you want now. We talked about that a little bit last week, and you'll discuss that more in your groups. Don't give up what you want most for what you want now. And my question to you is, what do you want most in life? What do you want most in life? Where do you want to see yourself in 6 months? Where do you want to see yourself in 3 years? Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? What goals do you have for yourself? Are you putting safeguards in place so that way you don't give in to what you want now and sacrifice things you want most? My challenge to you is to put safeguards in place. Be aware of the things you're allowing into your life, closing off things you don't want to consume in your life, and to invite people into your life who you trust, who can help hold you accountable. If you know there's things that you struggle with that invite into your life, invite someone into your life who you trust. When there's things that you struggle with, you can share with them and they can help you. Say, hey, I really struggle when it comes to making fun of people. Can you help hold me accountable so I can be a better person and I can act more like Christ? Hey, I really struggle with stop talking when someone else is talking or having respect for other people. Can you call me out when I'm out of hand? If you don't have friends, let me be really honest with you tonight, all right? Can I do that? Can I be honest with you? If you don't have friends who can hold you accountable and call you out when you're out of line, you don't have friends. That's the truth. If there's no one in your life that will call you out and say, hey, you need to stop, you need to calm down, then you do not have true friends in your life. Because true friends won't let their friends act stupid. True friends care about you and want the best for you. This wasn't planned, but maybe it's a good thing for us to consider tonight and to think. Do I have people in my life that will call me out if I'm acting stupid? Do I have people in my life that will call me out if I'm out of hand? If I'm being too much? If I'm crossing a line? And if the answer to that is no, then it's time to dump the people around you and find some better friends. Maybe that's the appetite you need to control. Have safeguards in your life and have people you trust that you can share your struggles with, who can help you not sacrifice what you want most for what tastes good right now.